Right, okay, have we gone? Welcome to the September meeting of the Planning, Transport and all the rest of it meeting. Okay. Members present, please, Clark.
Yes, 3 noted, and we have apologies from Councillor Dixon, who has a family commitment this evening.
Thank you very much. Any declarations of interest? Any non-committee members present? Move on to the minutes for the last meeting of Monday the 3rd of August. Page 1. Page 2. Page 3. And page 4. But then not least, page 5. Have a proposer, please.
Yeah, propose a true record, Chair.
Thank you.
Chair, can I ask? I don't think I've got the pages you're reading.
The what?
It seems my pack is incomplete or something. Is anything wrong with the pack? The clerk?
That I'm aware of.
Okay, all right. I just got the agenda. I'm not sure if I've got the minutes.
Oh,
It's okay.
They were sent out a week ago.
Your pack should go up to page number 11.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm okay. I'm just confused. Sorry.
Thank you. Good. Right. Okay. Public involvement, deputations, petitions and questions. Take it none. Right. Move on to the planning applications. 20/01943/FUL single story front and rear extensions at 58 Truman Place, Oldbrook, Milton Keynes. Anybody wish to open this up?
Chair. Sorry, I didn't put my hand up. Mind you, there's only 3 of us, so
Exactly. Yeah.
I did have a look at this. The front, I think, is just a slight extension to a porch on the front of the building.
Yeah.
And the back is a normal rear story extension.
Single story, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
sorry. Yeah, so to the rear of the building, single story to the rear of the building. I couldn't see anything that jumped out at me for not saying a no comment, but I stand to be corrected if someone else has looked at it and thought it wasn't appropriate.
I would agree with that. Chubo?
I will agree with that as well. I think I saw it as well. I just went around it. I didn't see any major. Thank you.
I agree. Okay, so we're saying no comment?
No comment, yeah.
All agreed?
I second that, yes.
Yeah, agreed.
Lovely. Thank you. Right. Next one is an amended proposal. Proposed change of use from religious retreat to a Class D1 use. Wellbeing treatment rooms, auxiliary offices and medical student accommodation with associated works. I think they've listened to what we sort of mentioned on the original application, should we say?
Yeah.
And I think we covered that well enough at the previous meeting personally, but if anybody has anything to add, please do.
No, I don't think so, Chair. I think they've taken on board what Parish put forward and taken into account the local residents' responses to their application. So,
yeah, I also think that way, although Val is not here today to see if there's any update from her part of view, but I still I think we can say no comment on here as well.
Thank you. Making no comment. Okay, thank you. Next one, first floor front side extension, single story extensions to front and rear and conversion of garage at 186 Old Brook Boulevard, Old Brook, Milton Keynes. I nearly went steaming in to Milton Keynes Council and said, this bloody thing is already being built. Then I realised that was 196, which is all the problems we had before.
Yeah.
I very nearly dropped myself right in it. But yeah, so then I had to relook at this one. And I believe this is one where I have actually knocked on the door. I know this is a family place. So thank God I didn't make a fool of myself.
Well, you would have been pardoned as well. So we know that you really make a mistake. So this wouldn't have anything.
Yeah.
So what do you suggest we should do then?
I can't see anything wrong with this one personally.
I concur.
Ray, did you look at it?
Yeah, nothing jumped out of me again, Chair.
No, it's on the borderline, but it's more or less what they've done in 196 and one of the others further down. So because it is the same guy doing it, but not the same householder, but the same agent, shall we say, Mr. Sharp.
They're probably buying the plans cheap.
Yeah, does it look like old plans? Yeah, without a doubt, but we won't go there.
No worries.
Say no comment.
Yeah.
The following notifications have been received, right? Certificate of lawlessness for a conversion and rear extension to garage at 25 Wynyard Court. This is something that follows on from a refusal when the guy wanted to build a new house, I believe, of 20/00578 this year. It looks like he's converting this into what looks like at least a 4-bedroom place. So I'm saying watch this space for obvious reasons. But I think we were being told we can't actually object to a certificate of lawfulness now. Is that correct, Clark, I believe?
I think we can make comments, but the planning officer will determine it based on the guidelines specifically for those cases. So they will note our comments, but they won't necessarily action them if the application is in line with the guidelines. Yeah,
I think our comments should be based along the line that we note this is an additional application after the application for a brand new property was turned down. Yeah, because when you look into the plans, they are more or less saying it as a new house if you look into the plans. And when you look up the drawings, it actually says across the top, new house. So I think that it should be noted that that this has been used as the plans that were originally submitted, and we would like it confirmed that the planning officer could put a condition on that this is to remain as a family home. I think we're quite entitled to do that. We've done that before, haven't we?
Yeah, if it's the property I'm thinking about, because I looked at so many today, the garage was being extended to the rear, and the kitchen was being moved, and the garage was being turned into a study. But it was really weird because it's also got its own internal toilet and
it's strange, that, isn't it? It's
in a study. But, you never know.
So I think we would like it noted that could they put a condition that this is kept as a family home. Would that be all right? We agree with that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because certainly the owner doesn't live there, but we don't want that down in the comments. Make of that what you will. Right, next one is the same as, again, certificate of lawfulness, single story rear extension and garage conversion, 63 bell size. I believe that one's been up before for certain things, but I think we can't really say much about that one.
I couldn't see anything untoward, to be honest, Chair.
That's totally different from the other one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're making no comment then?
That's fine by me.
Yeah. Chubo?
Yes, I agree.
Okay, thank you. Make no comment. The next one, if I knew what it was, I could explain it. An EIA scoping opinion request made in relation to the land at Willand Road, Newport Pagnell.
It's an environmental impact assessment.
Yes, I know that. I did know that bit. But first of all,
Thank you very much.
can I first of all make a comment? I don't think this is in our area.
I agree, Chair, but if you remember a conversation, I think in the August meeting, that was based around the 5G masts, and I think this is very similar because of the size of the application. I think it's something like anything over 5 hectares. You have to have a look at the environmental impacts of the area and flooding and so on and so forth. This site is about 45 hectares. So I think it's not that it necessarily, you're correct, it does sit outside of our parish, but there's no reason why we could not make any comments because of the environmental impact it may have on our area located around that.
Good point.
It's a very in-depth document. I mean, I spent nearly an hour and a half reading it today. And
is this not where the football ground is and what's behind it?
No. This is, if I'm correct, this is where the gravel pit and sand gravel pit is.
Oh yes, the opposite side of the road. I know what you mean. Yeah,
it's on the opposite side. And what
I'm with you. Yeah.
The approach is eventually there should be something in the region of 800 new dwellings.
Yeah,
over on there. So so there's a number of impacts. One is social impacts, traffic impacts, environmental impacts. There's lots of different sectors. And when I had a look at the documentation today, the Parks Trust, I think, have made some comments. There's a couple of others that have made some comments. I think like Angular Water regarding the flood mitigations or whether there's, so it's a very in-depth document. And then, in my opinion, unless you're an expert in the field of whatever you're reading in that section, it's going to be very, very hard to understand.
I understand that. Yeah, I got you. I'm with you. Yes, Tracy.
I was just going to say that probably the reason that we've been included on the consultation for this one is also because we made a comment on a previous application on that site, didn't we, because of its proximity to Willand. So I suspect that's maybe put us on the radar for this particular site, which is why we've got it.
Fair. Yeah. Okay. Fair. Well, I've not heard from any of the Willand residents saying they want to put a bit of input about this. And certainly it is part of the Newport Pagnell area and upwards expansion plan, which I'm falling behind, especially as it's pissing off some of the people in the villages up there. So
can I just say, Chair, just as a note, this meeting is being recorded. So appropriate language should be followed.
I sincerely apologise. I was speaking on behalf of a colleague of mine that has had, shall we say, a neighbouring area applications turned down because the people on the committee have got, let's say, a big interest in the area and looking after themselves. So that was the point I was trying to get across, that we don't like to look after ourselves, we like to look after our residents. And I apologise for my previous comment.
Yeah, my suggestion would be, with regards to this item, is that at this point in time, we note it, but reserve the right to come back and review it at any time during its fruition, because this is a long-term project. And
it is a very long-term project. I agree, and there's still a lot of consultations to be done within that area anyway, as to how far they're going to go with it. And I think really, from our point of view on the periphery, we just need to take note of it and maybe only put an input in if it really does affect us at some stage, if our residents tell us, because the expansion is going to happen. It's just how it happens, I think, is probably an important thing.
Yeah, I agree, Chair. It should be, we note it, but the proviso should be, if there's any major changes within their application at any time, that we're brought back into the consultation process because of the close proximity of Willen.
Okay, fair point. I'd agree with that. Chibo, anything to add?
I agree with that. I remember this project, which includes the Junction 14 towards making it better M1 between Junction 14 and 15 or something of that nature.
But it goes out the other side as well, doesn't it?
So yes, I agree with you. Yeah, we'll have it. If as they progress, they should let us know, as well as assessing our environment, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. Can you note that, Clark? And once again, I apologise for my flippant comment. Right. Do we want to? We'll leave licensing until we've done the additional applications. Is that okay?
Yeah. Do we have additional ones?
We do.
Okay.
First one is advertisement consent for 2 illuminated fascia signs and 1 illuminated projecting sign at 15 Duckworth Court, Oldbrook, which is the old bar store, I believe.
That's correct. Looking at the drawings, I had a look at the application today, and looking at the drawings, the only concern I've got is this sign on the brickwork pillar. It's a double-sided illuminated sign. If you look at the present, the other units down there, there is nothing on the outside of the actual pillars where the walkway is. All the signage is under where the walkway is, attached to their buildings or their units. This would put a sign on a pillar outside of their unit. I'm not saying it's not part of their unit, but it will be, if you like, road facing, because it'd be a double-sided sign. And the sign, when I looked at the drawing, was 750 mil, which is, say, it's about 29 inches. So whether that would have I don't know what's above those buildings, whether it's part of their offices. I think it is part of their offices, actually. I don't think there's flats or anything above there.
Not on that side. On the opposite side, there is.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if that type of illumination on the street, I mean, it's obviously to try and attract people that are coming down Oldbrook Boulevard or coming into Oldbrook off of Grafton Street, to identify that there is a fast food establishment there. But that's the only concern that I could think of, that there's no other building or no other unit down there with an illuminated sign on one of the pillars. But I don't know how that copes with building regs or you know, what that would sit under.
My concern would be that the company that proposing this do have extended opening hours way into the night, and certainly the fact there is flats on the adjacent side, i.e. where the Indian restaurant, hairdressers and 2 other pizza places are. That would worry me, that people are trying to sleep there if a sign was left on past a certain period of time. And I think that's something that Whether we can object on that basis because we don't know how long it's going to be election, we could do with clarification on that.
Chair, if it is a standard signage which stands, in most of the shopping centers or where multiple shops are, I don't think it will really have effect on the residents. They are still far away from there.
They're not far away.
Apart from the people closely adjacent to the street there, which is back in the area. But generally, I don't think it will. There are trees. Anyway, don't forget there are trees there as well, which can shade off some of the lights.
Not where these residents are, Tubo. No, because if you come out of 15 Duckworth Court and turn right and cross over the road, all the way along where those stores are underneath, there are flats above.
Well, okay. Well, I would just say the people who are doing it, one, they have considered the height of the houses. Secondly, they have, checked their routine measurement with regards to setting up a similar thing somewhere. And based on those circumstances, I probably think making a no comment would probably be, what's it called, a safeguard on it. But if we have pure objection about it, I don't mind. But to me, I can't see any objection on that.
Well, I wasn't putting an objection through. I was asking for more clarification, more information.
Okay, I don't see that.
Yes, Ray.
Chair, thank you. I was just going to suggest, is it something that we could ask a planning officer for clarification on with regards to that type of sign and its use with regards to the location and the actual aspect of the frontage of the whole of those block of units? That's what I would suggest.
Yeah.
Okay.
We need more information. Yeah. Really on that basis. With the fact there is flats there.
Yeah.
Would that be a fair comment?
I would say so. I don't think we would be out of order doing that, Tracy. Were we asking the planning officer for some clarification?
No, you can ask the planning officer for more clarification, but the deadline will be before the planning committee meet again. If you then decide to want to make a comment on the basis of what the advice is received, so I don't know whether you want to make a decision on the basis of assumption of what that advice might be, or whether you want to put an alternative arrangement in place for any comment, depending on what the planning officer said, because there won't be time to bring it back here for consideration again.
Shubo. If that is the case, then is there any material feature that we can lay hand, or planning plus that we can lay hand on to object on this? And if not, possibly we have to be safe as we are thinking of asking the planning officer to give us more information. And even if it means giving us the information elapses to the point when the actual decision is taken, let it be. It will be seen that we did request for information, although time was not on our side. Therefore, it is not our fault, other than making mockery of ourselves. Thank you.
Well, but honest answer is I don't know on what grounds we could object, to be quite honest, because it's not something that we normally come across. Yeah, Tracy.
If you're saying that none of the other units have the projected illuminated sign, then you could raise concerns on the fact that it's out of keeping from the rest of the other units. And then you're concerned about the impact of that and the light on the surrounding residents, and seek further clarification as to whether that's permissible within the current policies. But that was your concern.
Yeah. And also the concern of the hours it will be lit up, considering where it is and who it is.
That's good. Yes, at least we'll have a safe point to hinge our.
Okay. All right, we'll do that. We happy with that?
I would support that, Chair.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We'll go with that then. Right, thank you. Right, welcome, Darren.
Evening, Brian. Yeah, thank you, Chair.
Yeah, good. Right, next one. It says additional information has been provided in relation to the erection of a 5G mast at Waterside Pear Tree Bridge. Remind me what we said last time, Tracy, when this came up, please.
I think the first time we raised concerns about it, the most recent application, I believe the committee made no comment.
Okay. Does anybody want to come in there?
Yes, please,
Yes,
Chair.
Ray.
Again, I spent a lot of time this morning going through this. There's been a high number of objections from residents within that location, and I think it's is it Woughton
Parish Council, yeah.
Yeah, they've also put in a major objection with regards certain standards not being met and procedures not being followed, and so on and so forth. I'm not sure what the best way is. I don't want us to be seen as not supporting our fellow parishes if they've got concerns because certain procedures and processes have not been followed by MKC and other parties involved. So I know our original, from a perspective from us as a parish, we have no comment. But after reading some of the documentation and what Woughton, a community council, put in, they have some real major concerns. So I'm not sure whether we should. I don't think we should object, because I don't think we're in a position to object as such. But I think we want to take on board WCC's concerns, because we could end up with a 5G mast suddenly appearing within our own parish. And if we had, and then we'll have our concerns, and someone may turn around and say, this comes back to this environmental impact on communities, I think. Yeah. Okay. So I'm not sure how we go forward with that.
I think when we discussed it before, we said we recognise it wasn't actually in our parish, but it's very close to our parish.
That's correct.
And I think what we said, we would wholeheartedly support our neighbouring parish in their deductions and objections or whatever they wanted to go with, because it will impact us because it's very close, for example, to Springfield. I mean, that's a fact. And I think you're right, Ray, that we don't want to be seen to sort of make an objection that maybe it might be looked at we're not entitled to, but we also want to be known that we are supporting what has been said, and we support our fellows on our doorstep, so to speak. I think that's how we approached it before, and I think we should reiterate that. Yeah, Darren.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I think we are entitled to comment, whichever way we feel comment about this, because it's so near to part of our parish. I think the obligation is that the MKC are not obligated as a local authority to ask us if we have any comments, because it's not in our area. But just like if anything was going on in the city centre, we are entitled to give our comments if we so wish. Having reviewed the documents, Chair, I'm of the same mind as I did when I agreed with you first time round. I think that we should support what the neighbours have said and support them in their wish to have this amended or modified.
Okay, I think that's what I said. I mean, we can comment, but I didn't think we could necessarily object, other than supporting and letting them know that we feel strongly that this is close enough for us to have a say in this. I think that's what I was trying to put across.
Yes.
But being united
it's so close to our parish. We feel that we have a due diligence duty of care,
Absolutely.
Have a look at this application and look at the issues, we firm, even on reflection, reviewing the document, reviewing the application, we still feel the same way, that there is more than sufficient to be considered in the light of what Wolverton Community Council have said.
Absolutely. Okay, thank you. Right, so we got that, Tracy. Yep, we've got all that.
Yeah, so do you want me to respond to the planning officer to say we support due to the close proximity to our parish, when we support the Wolverton comments made by Wolverton?
We echo all the, yeah, okay. Absolutely. We echo their concerns as they concern us as well, because of where we are. But we're not going to put a separate objection. It's better to be together with that in this case. Yeah. Okay. Right, next one. Here we go. Variation of condition 1, approved plans relating to an application. This is a modified. This is to be a modified application to extend approved render to south elevation, additional roof light to the front facing roof, and minor roof alterations at 2 Linford Lane, Willen. I have looked up, before anybody comes in, I have looked up the old applications. We certainly objected to the original application, and there was a lot of bad feeling about the rendering that was going to be proposed at the back of the property. This actually got approved, but of course it wasn't approved for the front of the property. So this is like let's do a softly approach and get what we want in the end, which does not in any way fit in with the surrounding area, as was put across and was refused at the original application. So that's where we stand. It is a variation of condition, but it still applies with the letters FUL. So to me, that means it's still a full planning application. Anybody want to come in? Darren.
Yes, Chair. Thank you. I do remember what you just highlighted to us, and I would say that everyone's going to have a different opinion. The fact that we expressed opinion and Milton Keynes Council chose to have a different point on it, I don't think that much makes any difference. We're not here to have a look at what's right and the wrong ways of what Milton Keynes Council think when they come to decide things. However, because it's an FUL and it is the front of the building, and I would say that's going to have more of an impact on the character of the neighbourhood than the rear, then I think we should reiterate our original objection.
Is that a proposal?
That is a proposal, Chair.
Thank you. Right, good. Ray?
Yeah, I'd second that, actually. Yeah, I totally agree with what Darren's saying there. I'd second that.
Chuba, do you want to say anything?
No, I'm okay. I kind of
agree with that. Okay, Tracy, so if we can get out the original wording and look at what was said about the objection to the rendering to start with and just reiterate it, even more so, it applies to the front of the building, which is in no way in keeping with the area whatsoever. Okay. Okay. Right. Next one. Amended proposal has been received. Amended proposal into 20-01749, 2-storey rear extension at 20 Wardle Place, Oldbrook, Milton Keynes. This was quite an extensive proposal at the original proposal, but what has now sneakily appeared is a window in the right elevation, which was obviously not there the first time because it was going to impact on a neighbouring property. But it suddenly appeared on this latest amended application. That's the only real difference I can see. But it's quite a material difference, to say the least. Because there's no wording on there that it needs to be, i.e. frosted glass or anything. It's just appeared. And presumably it wasn't put there in the first place for precisely the reason that it wouldn't have got through. Darren.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I've done a bit of casework in recent weeks. And funnily enough, it is in the same area as the parish with regards to in keeping with the neighbours and the loss of privacy, etc. And I think this is exactly the same. You know, if you've got a side elevation window and it's directly overlooking the garden and potentially the front of the house, the back of the house and the back bedroom as well. You know, they've had the application. They don't need to have a window. There's no need to have a window there. Let them put a Velux window in the roof if they really want a window. I say for the quality of life around and for privacy, the window should not be an addition.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody to that? No. Okay. So we got a proposal. Do we object to the amended proposal due to the loss of privacy of a new window that has appeared in the drawings on the right elevation and subsequent policies, whatever go with it, what we've used before, which do not stay in my brain long enough?
Just to say, Chair, that as with other areas of Oldbrook, the layout of the area was specifically designed for a number of reasons, and one of them, apart from nice spacious between houses, it was also to do with privacy.
Yeah.
There is one of that in the moment in time. So, you know, putting a window in something where it overlooks, that hasn't happened anywhere in Oldbrook, and neither it should it, Chair. You know, we should be adhering to what we promised what Milton Keynes promised in the beginning and what we promise our parishioners now.
Fair point. Okay, thank you. Right, good. We've got that, Tracy. Yeah.
Yeah.
There isn't any more. There isn't any more, is there?
No, just the two licensing.
Right, the one on the additional application, I'll do that first because I've got it in front of me. Application from Coffee Blue Milton Keynes West Limited to trade borough-wide, Monday to Sunday, 9 o'clock till 12 o'clock in the day. Anybody got anything to say about that? The normal regulations have been put on there about prohibited within 250 metres of any school's entrances, etc. And that's in effect. So personally, I can't see any reason to say much more about that.
How long does it take to make a coffee? What happens if you get 10 people waiting for a coffee? It'd take more than 20 minutes.
9 o'clock till 12 o'clock.
Yeah, but it says that the stay should be no longer than 20 minutes, isn't it?
There you go. Who knows?
I'm just being pedantic. That's all I'm just
that's
making
a
an
good word.
observation.
That's a good word. Good word, Councillor Golding. Thank you very much for your input. Yes, Darren.
Yes, Chair. I mean, it's nice to see that the usual caveats are there, but unfortunately, points 1 to 4 on the existing thing, they haven't been adhered to. Last time the van was there, not even initially from the start, and I can't see that this is going to be any different this time round either. Yeah, we can.
Really?
Yeah, whether you're going to put a footnote on there or whether you're going to have war and peace in the conditions, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. It's carry on their little way. All they want is just to understand the council, and they'll say whatever it is that Milton Keynes Council will agree to whatever they want. They know that carry on.
Do we have a proposal, or are we just going to say no comment? Or
I think if it's a renewal and it doesn't, we've identified, we've objected, and it's been overruled. So there's just no comment. You're not going to enforce it. The only way it'll ever get enforced is if they park right outside of school.
what one are you talking about?
The coffee thing.
Yeah, that's not a renewal. That seems to be an application. A new one.
Yeah, that's what I was saying about the 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
See, my belief is, even in London, you have these coffee vans and all that. They tend to pick a site and they stay there.
Oh.
In my opinion, I would have thought it would have been better for them to apply for a license for a specific site, But what they want to do is it sounds like to me that they want to be able to move round and test the water and see where they can get the best. And then what will eventually happen, in my opinion, is they'll just find that location and just stay there.
Okay, well, that's unfortunately, I think that's down to the council to monitor, not us, unless it's on our patch.
I totally agree with you, Brian. We can't police it, so
unless it's on our patch.
In every other application that I'm aware of, Chair, in this kind of situation, yeah, applicants are required to be Pacific. This isn't Pacific. Yeah, I think they should be Pacific. Not because anyone really wants to be pedantic. It's just that we want everybody. There should be a uniform requirement or a uniform criteria, and everybody should be striving to hit that criteria. Otherwise, what's the point of having the criteria in the first place? Don't require it of any of them. Just let them do what they fancy.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. It would be a good idea to have an idea of where they wish to trade. I think that's a fair comment.
Well, because that, you know, you don't know what the parking situations are, you don't know what traffic congestion's like, etc., etc. You don't know if it impacts anybody else. You know, it's just really, really sketchy, and I can see it coming back and causing an issue somewhere along the line, whether it be a residence, another trailer, or whatever.
Well, basically, what they're saying is they want the same rights as the ice cream traders. I think that's what they're basically saying. So, yeah. Okay. Right. Licensing. The second licensing one is a renewal. That's for the VN Dozer van on Fishermead Boulevard. Does anybody wish to comment on that? Darren.
I should say they're really, really nice people. I'm not too sure whether they've cleaned their act up together or not. But again, these people, you know, these conditions, it's sending out the wrong message from Milton Keynes Council, and they're making a rod for their own back. Because like I said earlier, if the conditions, if it's a footnote, whether it's a footnote or whether it reads like War and Peace, it makes absolutely no difference whatsoever. They just agree to whatever they think they need to agree to. Say to Milton Keynes Council at the time, whatever they think Milton Keynes Council wants to hear, and then just carry on regardless because they know they'll be able to.
Right. Okay. The existing conditions include item 2, which is the trader is to communicate with the Fishermead Residents Association and with the Parish Council regarding any issues raised, and is to work with them to attain a resolution. Am I given to understand that the FRA no longer exists?
No, the FRA does no longer exist. So that does need to be amended slightly. However,
correct.
The Fishermead Residents Association, it was in force, it was in action for several years, and not once did these people engage with us as they were requested to.
So I think we should ask that those conditions be amended to specifically include the Parish Council.
Absolutely, Chair. And I will look forward to them renewing their commitment to that condition and talking to us.
Okay, thank you. Ray?
Yeah, thanks, Chair. I've got concerns about removing the section regarding Fishermead Residents Association because if you look at some of the Facebook traffic regarding and neighbourhood and next door, there are some people within Fishermead that are trying to restart a residents association up. So it doesn't matter that there isn't one at the moment, because as long as there is a parish council. The question I would ask is, has anybody within the parish council received any complaints regarding this Mr. Dozer van? Or I haven't received any. I don't know if the parish office has received any, because until we receive a concern or a complaint, then we can't address that as such. So we can only assume that the residents and the Dozer van are behaving themselves and doing what they should be doing. You know. That's only my comment. So
I can't answer that because I've certainly not received a complaint. Darren.
Yes, Ray is right. Ray is quite right. You know, the FRA it may be coming back in another guys. They're in a little bit of an embryonic stage at the moment, but it is likely. So we may want to leave that in upon reflection. The area that this van's in, it's in a very, very tight cul-de-sac, and the customers do park wherever they fancy, a bit like any other unit, to be honest. But we're talking about this one in particular at the moment, so we are judging on him on his merits. It's very, very tight. There is no bin there. It's not particularly well lit. And this isn't, when you look at the area, it's a very residential area. There's no passing trade. There's no should we say, where it is, there's no through traffic like there would be for a kebab van or a fish and chip shop or a fish and chips van or something like that, Chair. And the other thing is what concerns me, in the school holidays, it's there from midday. This dozer van is predominantly sweets. It's sweet dishes. And we're telling the kids that they should be cutting down on their sugar as a society. Do we really need to be opening it at midday? A lot of people haven't even. A lot of people are finishing off their 11s. They certainly haven't long had breakfast. I'm just saying. We're supposed to be supporting society and governments and schools with healthy living and that. Like this that's open at midday, at the weekend, and at midday in school holidays, where people are ODing on sugar again.
Okay, thank you. Tubo?
Oh, thank you, Chair. To be candid, I think we are becoming pedantic over using some slangs which we are not supposed. We are councils. We are looking at this from professional, objective point of view. I wouldn't want to be saying if I let this off or sign it off, children will be, swamped with sugar or be obese by any chance. I'm looking at it from a point of where inconveniences will start from. If it is parking, if it is traffic, if it is the timing, then if those areas are all wonderfully okay, I probably think we shouldn't be talking about it. We should let it go as a business concern and let them behave themselves, as we rightly said. Since they are behaving, let them continue and just move on to the next chapter. Thank you, Chair.
Okay, right. Darren raised a good point about the litter and stuff like that. I think if we let it be known that we're not happy to support this, but not objecting, but would remind VN Dozer Van of their commitment to the existing conditions.
Sure.
I think that'd be a good way of putting it.
Sure.
Absolutely, I fully support that, Chair.
Sure. Thank you. Okay, we voting on that? Yep.
yeah,
Yeah.
Okay. Update on past representations. We've done all those. Update on appeals. No more information. Item 8, consultations. Milton Keynes planning obligations and health impact assessment supplementary planning documents. I must confess I've not got round to reading these because I've just been flat out, as everybody knows. But,
Can we have any feed from the clerk? What this is all about?
I would hope so. Yes. Tracy, over to you.
I also haven't had time to look into this in any great detail. The information I have is how the information is there. I've been on leave.
Okay. Yes, Councillor Golding.
Yeah, thanks, Chair. As it says, that the closing, I think, is the 30th of September, isn't it?
Yes.
Consultation closing. The suggestion I would put forward is because of the obviously the parish shutdown as such through May, is that everyone within the team should have the opportunity now to review it, and they can make their comments direct, if I remember rightly.
That's correct.
Through the links that are also on the agenda pack.
That was a suggestion from full council, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Anything like this. Yeah. Okay. We'll move on then. Part 2, government consultation planning for the future. The government have released a white paper. It proposes reforms of the planning system to streamline and modernise the planning process, bringing a new focus to design and sustainability, improve the system of developer contributions to infrastructure, and ensure more land is available for development where it is needed. I've had a brief little look at a couple of things on there, which doesn't really tie up with what they suggest they're trying to do, but perhaps I need to look at it a bit more in a bit more depth, because I would not hold my breath on developer contributions improving where they have to cost money into the infrastructure other than what they are obliged to do and can get away with. But that's only a personal opinion, because that's the way it tends to work. And with it needed to be so much more development land available, they will exploit any way they can sort of get their own way across. Yes, Ray.
Thanks, Chair. Again, as part of this consultation process, is I think everyone should take the opportunity to read through the documentation, and I think we should feed that back through the clerk, and then those, if anyone's got any concerns, because it's saying that they want to, NALC is requesting that it goes back to them and they put a
collective response,
as a collective through. So once people have read through the documentation, if they've got any concerns, I would suggest that we use the clerk as a central hub, and then all of those concerns could be sent to NALC direct, rather than them all being sent piecemeal.
Good idea. Tubo? Turn your mic on, Tubo.
Are you suggesting we write into the clerk, or are you suggesting we
drop our ideas into the clerk? If we've read the paper and we've got comments on it, we put them to the clerk. These do not have to be forwarded until the 29th of October, although NALC wishes to have it 2 weeks before, so they can collate it. But certainly we've got plenty of time before our next meeting.
Okay, I was just going to actually say, since it is up to 29th of October, can we not bring up this again to the next meeting? When is the next meeting?
What, at the beginning of October, 5th of October.
Okay.
Once again, as Ray said, it does ask for individual contributions, if you like, but we should feed those through to the clerk, so we can then collate them. And if we want to put a collective response before the next meeting or after the next meeting, we've got plenty of time to do that, to make our feelings known as a parish. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Okay. Right.
Happy
with that? Everybody happy with that?
Sorry, Chair. Can I just say, we're all going off. Sorry, we're all going off saying this, but we haven't actually asked the clerk if she's.
I was just going to say, Tracy wishes to come in. Tracy.
Yeah, that's fine. There's also online there's a consultation response form, which I believe has got like 26 questions on it for people to respond to. So you can't download it. You have to kind of fill it in online. But I've kind of copied and pasted the questions out of that consultation form, so I can circulate those by email, and then if anybody's got any specific comments related to any of those questions, then you can feed that back to me as well.
That would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Right, good. Okay.
Yes, please, that's wonderful. Thank you.
Part 3, government consultation changes to the current planning system. The consultation sets out proposals for measures to improve the effectiveness of the current planning system. 4 main proposals are changes to the standard method for assessing local housing need, securing of first homes through developer contributions, supporting small and medium-sized builders by temporarily lifting the small sites threshold, and extending the current permission in principle to major development. Again, this is something we need to sort of look at individually, I think, and respond. Back to NALC, of which we only got 2 weeks to do. Tracy, you got your hand up.
Sorry, I didn't take it down from before.
Okay, so
I think this particular consultation is more the interim measures that once the white paper's in place, these are the interim proposals.
Yeah. Okay, fine. Right. Lovely. Good. Can we move on?
Yeah.
Take that on board. Item number 9, 42 Portland Drive, Willen. Committee are invited to receive any further updates and determine any actions required. As some of you will know, some of you may not, the inquiry has been put back to the beginning of next year, which, due to a conversation we've had with 1 or 2 persons involved, may be a good thing, as there's certain items that need to be sorted out, shall we say, to put forward a collective response again, to make sure we as a parish council, and even more so, that the council are not taking on board more than they can bite, more than they can chew, shall we say. I think that's about as far as I can go at that stage. If anybody wishes to add on, please do. Darren, oh, Tracy, sorry, yeah.
I haven't heard if the team on the online Teams meeting on the 17th of September has been confirmed. Have you heard anything directly, Brian?
No, I haven't. No.
I'll investigate then.
Perhaps we can chase that up because I need to be available for that, won't I? Darren.
I mean, yes, it is quite, you know, it may well be quite fortunate for everyone involved that it's been put back. But my understanding was it was actually put back at the request of the applicant. So
certainly was.
I'll just reiterate why Osman last time. If there's any additional costs because he can't do what he wants to do in the interim period, the fact that he's asked for it, then he needs to put the bill for any out of expenses for that. Because as far as I'm concerned, it's been put back because he asked for it. And therefore, if it's causing you a delay, then you have to swallow whatever it is that it causes you with that delay.
Thank you, Darren. I think that's a good point. Tracy? Thank you. Right, okay. Right, anything else? No. Date of next meeting, Monday, 5th of October. Thank you very much for attending, everybody, and for getting through so promptly.
Lovely. Thank you, Chair.
Yep.
Thank you, Chair.
I'll stop the recording now.
I'm sorry
Thank you, Tracy.
Not at the beginning, Chair, but thank you.